Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's got Squatch and Frank here. How you guys doing?
What's up, brother? We're doing good. I'm doing good.
All good, man.
It's allergy season, though, for me. So I'm
feeling
taking that Allegra-D and squirting my eyeballs. Tell me it sucks, man.
Yep.
I will say this, though. We had a golf outing yesterday, and it was like 35 degrees out. And I bought this heated padded seat thing that you'd use at like stadiums and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to use it in hunting season because I loved it so much. It comes with a little battery pack and it heats your ass and heats your back up too. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be able to sit out there for a long time.
Yeah. Keeping your ass warm is important, except especially when it's for the next guy. So,
Right? Oh, man. Well, we got a pretty big show for tonight. Talking about Michigan's $1 possible rule for tonight. Vote's gonna be happening on May 13th. We got a special guest for tonight. I'm gonna bring him on. He knows more information more than I do. I'm just gonna give my take on stuff like that. I also wanted I basically asked these guys to make sure that they're here because Squatch has New York covered, and asking Frank to talk about New Jersey, I'm sorry, it's just fuck, man. I mean, it's just the most cluster.
You're not ready for that
shit. But he brings a unique aspect because he can kind of give some insight on that, and I'm curious to see like on other people in the comments, like from I believe Indiana, Justin, they're $1. I know he doesn't like it right now, but there's a lot of people for it, and there's a lot of people against it. We'll get into my feelings on it later. But for now, let's bring on our guest for tonight, too. Josh, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
Oh, not gonna lie, I'm a little tired. My little kids have been kicking my ass. We played this rainbow game. My daughter was trying to explain it to me. So we were playing it for a little bit. It's called Rainbow, Wake Up. And you have to, one of them, you're in this little hula hoop thing, and then it crouches down into like this little ball, and you say, Rainbow, wake up. You back up, and you do it 2 more times. On the third one, and you shout it, and then that little person in the rainbow gets up and starts chasing everybody. So we were out there in the 70-mile-an-hour winds for today that sucked ass, and I'm turning around to get out of her way, and boom, ran right into my son and knocked him over, who's 3 years old. And he just took it like a champ, man. I don't know you guys, but I hate.
Gonna make sure we do that with your daughter, so during hunting season, your ass gets out of bed early, so you can be on the group chat with us like the rest of the guys.
There you go. Yep.
Rainbow, Brick, get out of bed. It's time to go kill a buck, so he's dead.
Yeah.
Like that. All right.
Oh, I love it.
That's awesome.
You and your rainbow people.
Yeah.
Elemental P, HIJ, elemental P's, whatever they are.
The whole fucking alphabet, basically.
Man, fuck. Just cover everything, will you?
Yeah. Well, anyways. Something big is happening right now here in Michigan. And some hunters know, some hunters don't. But there's a big vote coming on May 13th. And as of right now, I'll say this. How Michigan has it structured, you can buy a combo tag. Okay? And on that combo tag, you can also buy the doe tag with it too. But the combo tag basically means you can shoot 2 bucks, but one of those tags you can use it to shoot an antlerless tag. Am I correct, Josh?
That is correct. Yeah.
So that's how we have it structured here right now. However, there's also a big piece that's also going on that I'm assuming all hunters know this, that we have a shit ton of does and not a lot of bucks. They basically live to 1.5 here in Michigan. Would you agree with that vague statement there, Josh?
Yeah, I'd say most of our deer are done before they're 2.5 for sure.
Yeah. Like I had a buddy who lives in Illinois, and I can't remember exactly how he stated it, but he said that their deer, a 4-year-old deer is going to act like a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old is going to act like a 2-year-old, kind of stupid and stuff like that. And he lived here in Michigan and hunted here. He said 2-year-olds in Michigan act like 10-year-old deers. And I live by the saying of I think Michigan created the saying, if it's brown, it's down. I swear, I think Michigan invented that saying.
especially if you're Johnny Nitro. He really believes in that.
Yeah, he definitely goes by that.
Well, I know Josh is he's been on this a whole lot more, and I'm not fully caught up on it all. But Josh, do you want to kind of give a rundown of what's kind of happening here, besides me telling that there's the $1 going on and we have the vote on the 13th?
Yeah. So there's been a push by hunters to get the herd back on course, right? Most people, I think, recognize whether or not they want to, like you just alluded to it, like our age class is very low. We don't have a balanced age class. We don't have a balanced herd. Those are 2 very important parts of having a healthy deer herd is, balanced age class and balanced buck to doe ratio. So there's been a push to get the herd back on track, and the deer advisory team came up with a proposal to go to a $1 state a few months ago. A lot of us liked it, started pushing for it. And through that, the commission created a new set of goals. And some of those goals are to advance the age structure of the bucks here. Natural Resource Commission is what I'm referring to. Advance the age class of bucks, equal the buck to doe ratio back out. And, there's some habitat work to be done in the UP. That was a goal as well. So with these goals, the DNR put a proposal together, and in their recommendations, it's to go to a $1 state. Decrease the number of days in the muzzleloader season, which is obviously any legal firearm, and down here in the lower, and start managing does by DMU again. So with those 3 things, there's been a whole lot of different ideas thrown around by the commission. They had at one point put an APR on the $1. It sounds like that's probably not going to happen. None of those amendments to that recommendation are actually in writing for anybody to see right now. And they're kind of being kicked around still here at the last minute. So there's just a flurry of information coming and going every day. There was a gun season amendment, which sounds like that's off the table now. And that was to move it to the Saturday before Thanksgiving, run it 9 days. Sounds like that's not going to happen now. But the big one is $1. That's the big one that everybody knows about, that everybody's up in arms about, or they're all for it. You're either for it or you're against it.
There was a comment made. Josh, you have kids?
I do. Well, I got a stepson. Bonus dad.
Do you mind saying how old they are? Teens, young age?
He's 13.
13.
Yep.
All right, Frank, you got kids, right?
Yep.
How old are they?
16 and 5.
My kids are, my youngest is 3, just turned 3, and my daughter is 5. Kevin, we all know, who runs his own podcast, made a comment about, I can't remember exactly word for word what he said, but I want to clear the air though on this because it kind of leads into what my point is going to say is talking about the youth. Okay. I heard people saying how the youth is extremely excited about this. And I said, the youth, they don't fully know the full aspects of it. And they took what I was trying to say out of context. Now, there are some youth, however you define it from age to age. I just consume youth as just children, young kids. When I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and heck, it even took me till 21 to finally realize what this state does when it comes to hunting, okay? Mm-hmm. Like deer herd and knowing all aspects of hunting. Like there's more than going out there than just shooting a deer. We all know that. Yeah. To hear people just kind of say, and maybe I'm wrong, but to hear people just like I'm sure there are kids out there that are excited to see and they actually know the full aspects of everything with hunting compared to what I did at that age. But what I was trying to admit was there's a lot more to hunting than just going out there and shooting a deer. Like I just said, there's age structure that we got to worry about. There's diseases. Michigan also has a predator problem. Okay. There's more than just meat to the eye. And I think what I fully want to get youth involved in hunting because as of right now, in hunting numbers wise, the people are aging out of hunting. We're not retaining hunters that are at the age right now. And like I'm 31, 32 here. And people in my age aren't coming back to hunting. And we're not getting youth involved. If we can't get the youth involved, basically all this shit doesn't matter what we're up here talking about because who the shit, there's not going to be any hunting around. I think one of the biggest things, and I've known growing up, was our DNR just didn't care what hunters had to say. I mean, we're the ones out there, and I think they might have looked at us like, oh, you don't have the degree or anything like that. We know better because we're here, the DNR. But one thing with this admin that has in charge right now, they actually give a shit what hunters are saying. They want to see the change happen. Change needs to happen. Is it the correct way of doing things? We all are going to have our own different opinions, but that's what's nice is we can all talk to each other and say, I agree with this point. I don't agree with this. That's how we get better, is having these tough conversations. Like I might agree with stuff with Josh. I might not agree with stuff with Josh and vice versa with me and him. But one thing I will say is we do have to get youth involved in the hunting and we got to figure out how to do a better job of fixing our deer herd. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have is disease because we just had a huge outbreak in like 2012. And then we had the last couple of years of EHD. So the biggest thing that we're known that needs to happen though is fixing this age problem. It's fixing our deer herd because it just sucks. It used to be awesome back then, but not anymore. So anyone else that? Because I need to take a drink of water after that.
I'd like to add something. So here in New York, it's always been a $2 state. I can tell you honestly, when I was a kid, there was a lot more hunters here. It was more of a tradition thing. You grew up, you were automatically introduced into hunting. You weren't a man until you went in the woods, you shot a deer with your uncles, your grandfather, your father, whoever, and you put blood on your face. So it's a tradition, a family tradition that's slowly being faded out through all the libertism and stuff like that that's going on in the world. People frown upon hunting now. So it's not that tradition that's, you can't wait for that opening day, for all your family to come here and get together, put your plaid jackets on and head out on a, deer drive up in the woods and everybody's there, celebrating your kill of your buck. Honestly, when I was a kid, there was a lot more deer. I used to count between 35 and 40 deer at a time in a clip with the migration deer moving through our property. Now I'm lucky to see 3 or 4 at a time. I can honestly say we got hit hard also with EHD back in 2000 when COVID came out, whether it was deer COVID, EHD, whatever they want to call it. It knocked down a lot of deer in the area. I've been hunting the same piece of land since I was a little kid. I can honestly tell you within the 5 years, I'm just starting to see bucks that are reaching a 4.5-year-old age in their racks. And I know it's significant, Lee, for a fact that they are those bucks because I run cameras all year long. And the reason being is I like to keep track of what's going on with the herd. I feel, though, back then, back in the day when everything was a natural flow, guys went out and shot deer up. There was always bucks the next year. How? I don't know. There was no antler restriction. There's still not in the area that I hunt. But the next like 2 towns over, and then it's a 3-point restriction. Okay. But I can honestly tell you, every year, and I'm talking these guys they were from Long Island. They'd get out of the car. If it moved, it was dead. Okay. I didn't hunt that way, but that's the way I hunted. And everything fell. There was deer dead everywhere. My grandfather was a butcher. That garage was full of deer. Okay. We always had deer. There's always been a significant amount of deer here. It had nothing to do with the DEC balancing anything because the DEC didn't even know about half the deer that fell over there. Okay. So I think what's the significant impact of this whole situation is overdevelopment. People have moved up here from the city. I'm 70 miles north of New York City. It's very still rural here, but it's growing. Okay. You're pushing the deer out. The farmers here by me, putting up fences all around the orchard. What are they doing? They're pushing the deer out of the orchard, not around car to deer impacts. Okay. Insurance companies are seeing this happen. They're bitching in New York State because their policies are going through the roof. And now New York State wants to introduce, let's shoot more does. Okay, early on in September. It's like coyotes. They tried to eradicate coyotes out west. For every coyote you shot, one dropped 6 or 7 pups. They have that natural reoccurrence. I don't think a DNR or anybody is going to control nature, okay? They did try to wipe out the deer population with EHD, if that was something, because I feel that was something between the insurance agencies and the states to control deer population and knock the deer population down. And they're sadly not considering the impact of what EHD did to the herds here on top of these rulings. And by knocking down more doe early in the season, all you're contradicting is just wiping out the herd so there's less deer. I don't know where they're at with this. And it sounds like Michigan and New York, they're all kind of like following suit, just like New York follows California and, with the gun rulings and everything else. I know I'm kind of like ranting here and getting off on a tangent, but, it's the way I see it, okay? There's a bigger picture to not being able to be self-reliant in the woods to take meat if you have to in a bad situation like COVID when that happened because you couldn't get shit in a supermarket. So what are they up to? Are they trying to do this to screw with something? I mean, it's just an aspect the way I look at it. I look at the whole spectrum of stuff. And that's just my point on it.
Squatch, I just want to clarify, just what you just said, like, what are they up to? I just want to say, like, most of this coming forward right now was a hunter initiative.
Yeah.
This wasn't like something that was pressed onto the hunters coming down from Farm Bureau or anything like that. This all started with our Citizens Deer Advisory team and us showing up, So there's a perception out there with a lot of the guys that I'm seeing on social media and everything that, that this is all Farm Bureau, and Farm Bureau does not support one buck. Farm Bureau, they would not take a stance on buck regs for most of this until the very last minute. And I just wanted to clear that up with any of the listeners. Like, a lot of this didn't come from them trying to just take something from us. A lot of this was hunter initiative. Like, how do we balance this herd? And we see a lot of like what you're talking about with overdevelopment.
Yeah.
We have those issues in our city areas. They try to bring in calls and, shoot deer out of the cities. And, I kind of get it in the cities. There are deer running around. But what's funny about it is you always see like an uprising of hunters who are like, well, bring the hunters in and let us kill deer. But I don't know how it is in New York. Here,
Yeah.
our hunters absolutely refuse to shoot does. So you talk about bringing guys in instead of a cull. They don't want to go in and shoot the does, which are the overpopulation. They want to go in and get their buck tag and fill a buck tag. So that's why we've never, I think that's my point of view, I guess, is why we've never had that opportunity for like city tags or anything like that, because we refuse to shoot does. We don't want to control the problem. We just want the antlers.
Yeah.
I have a running
Maybe your
theory
culture is
on-
different, but that's what I see.
Well, that's what they're trying to do with this new ruling is they're saying guys aren't shooting enough does. Well, let me tell you something. I shoot at least 2 deers out of my local herd, 2 doe out of my local herd every year to balance the situation out. And it's usually the old smart ass ones that, can read you out to like 3 miles away and just stare at you.
She blows, she
But,
goes.
They got to go. And you know what? I'd rather eat a doe. They're better tasting. A buck in the rut tastes like shit, if you ask me. I mean, they're all rutted up. They're old, grizzly, fat, and been running around the woods, especially the ones I shoot. So I'd rather eat a doe anyway. But to me, it's just, I don't know. It's like New York is really screwed up, and I'm not afraid to say it. It's a bad imbalance of what they're trying to do. And if you start shooting the hell out of all these does like they want, especially in an early season, it's not going to be a good thing.
I have a running theory, and I'll say this. I don't know when I want to say this. So I'm just going to say it so I don't forget it. We even try to help reduce the doe population by you can spend like $5 to $20 for a tag or something like that in January. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. I don't remember being able to do that, I don't think. And it started recently where you can do that to try and reduce the does out there. And I strongly think, this is my running theory on this, a lot of hunting has been very, I don't know what word I want to use, but idolized or created this new famous world now. I don't know how to describe it, but it's now this new big up thing. And it seems like a lot of people have a hunting content page. And even if people don't, remember that old saying, I don't know if you remember or not, you're Facebook official. You weren't Facebook official unless you were dating somebody back in school.
Yep.
I take that kind of philosophy to hunting. If you're a hunter, you're shooting the buck to kind of solidify yourself as like a real hunter. A doe ain't going to do that for you.
Yeah.
So that's just a running theory. Like, are people out there just shooting the bucks just so they can post it online? I mean, yeah, we all want the bucks. That's like the trophy of whitetail hunting. We all know that, but like, there's more to it than that. And I just think social media has kind of created this, maybe not created, but it's kind of part of the problem, maybe in a small aspect of it. Just maybe I can kind of see that because of the way the world hunting is now these days, because of how online social media and stuff like that is going.
Well, look
you
at
guys
all the
kind of agree on that point at least, or not? It's just a running theory of mine.
No, I mean, I would say there's some truth to it, because like, I mean, even here in Jersey, I mean, during the early season, during most of our seasons, like I'll explain to you guys, like our early season, our permit bow, muzzleloader, our permit shotgun, you can shoot in my zone. You can shoot up to 5 does, and only 1 buck if you buy the buck tag.
Yeah.
But there are parts in Jersey that it's unlimited does. You could shoot as many as you want. So that's like another aspect of it is, as far as here in Jersey, it's, a lot of people, I guess it all depends like where you're at, because I mean, I know a lot of people who don't give a shit. Like they'll shoot as many does as they will. I'll shoot a couple, early season or whatever, even like late season. Like I took my son out and I shot one. I really don't see the need to shoot unlimited, even like 5 per season, in my opinion. But I mean, to me here in Jersey, as far as like our buck tags go, to me it's all about money, because everything is always, if you can buy a buck tag, you shoot a buck during early season, now you gotta wait, you buy your next license, you could shoot another buck. Okay, now that season's over, the next season is you could shoot another buck. As long as you pay for it, they're happy. And that's just how it is here in Jersey.
Yeah, and that was the biggest holdup on getting any type of change on the table here was money.
Yeah.
You know, the DNR brought in an economist, and he said if we go to one buck tag, they're going to end up losing $6 to $9 million. And they're trying, you know, they're scrambling, trying to figure a way to offset that with a department that's already struggling financially. Our DNR is, dude, they're tore up. And I never realized it because, you know, kind of like Brett was saying earlier, alluding to it at least, you know, growing up here, you always look at the DNR like green man bad, right? Like they're just the total enemy. It wasn't until I started going to commission meetings and having conversations with the biologist and realizing, like, okay, the biologists and the admins and the wildlife people, they're all good people. Top brass might be where you have an issue, but all those people on the ground floor, boots on the ground, they're all solid people. And talking to them, and then they started putting on this finance committee presentation, and I'm like that's the equipment they're using, like all this money that we make in tag sales, and this is the type of stuff they're using. Tractors from like 1954.
Even
Like,
their trucks are outdated.
yeah, dude, they're hurting so bad. And you know, it's just, I think there's a bad perception out there on that front. But with the doe thing, you know, what we've asked for too, and this was another proposal that came through the DAT, Deer Advisory Team, was to limit the amount of does taken per county, because for years we've had unlimited, pretty much. You get up to 10 antlerless universal tags, and they're not by county. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, like Southern Zone 3, right? You got does everywhere. You go up to the northern area and you got very few does. So they wanted to put like a quota on each county on how many deer you can take out of each county, which I think is just effective management. And it makes it reactive too, because like Squatch said, you got disease, you got a EHD hit. Well, now you can start pulling numbers out of there. Like, okay, well, you could take 3 does. Well, now you only get 1 because EHD has totally ravaged this area, or like it did on the west side back in 2012. It's just a good component to have in place, and like a safety, you know, stops you from shooting everything that moves. But our hunters don't want to shoot does anyway, so it's almost a troubling factor.
It's funny you mention that, because some research I was able to find, about 20,000 hunters reported to shooting 2 bucks on average from 2022 to 2024, and about 85% of them reported them in the same county too.
Yes, yep. Which that kills that deer camp argument everybody talks about. Well, I want to go to camp with my second tag. It's like, you know, 85% are shot in the same county.
Yeah,
it's an interesting thing to think about.
There was also some research I was able to find in 2020. They were talking about this, and there was a vote. There was a 48% support on it and 40% that opposed it. In 2021, there was one that 38% supported it and 42% opposed this. So like no matter like
what did they
oppose?
$1. Okay. Yeah, it seems like support is growing generationally. And with people too, like our average hunter right now, through the surveys, right, takes 1.4 deer a year, or wants 1.4 deer a year. Well, it just doesn't make sense anymore. If you're giving them 2 buck tags and they want 1.4 deer, nobody's ever going to shoot a doe. Like if I got 2 tags and I only need 1.4 deer, right, and that's just an average, why would I shoot a doe?
Right.
Not going to happen. There's no incentive there.
There was also, because Michigan here, I like to think Michigan is like 6 different states built into one. I mean, really, it's just kind of like the UP is basically like Maine. Northern part of Michigan is like Vermont. Then you got like some Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, kind of in the southern part of Michigan, stuff like that. It's kind of very diverse. And some other numbers I was able to look up. The antler deer success, if you were to tape the UP and the northern part of Michigan in the southern part of Michigan. So we got 3 layers right now. In the UP, there's a 7.4% success rate for antler deer. In the northern lower part of Michigan, there was about 20%, and the southern part was about 25% for shooting antler deer. So let's not all just go out there and say like shooting deer is going to be this easy thing, because I think another aspect that I was kind of talking to earlier is first hunting. It's not easy. We're just going to be out there and shoot the deer, and we think, oh, we'll just fix the problem because hunters are going to be able to do this. No, it's still fucking hard to shoot deer. Okay, don't care. I've been hunting for nearly 20 years. I shot my first doe last year. Okay, I've been trying to shoot a doe forever, and I just couldn't make it fall off. I don't know. I suck at it. I shot them, and I never found them. They're the Einsteins of the wilderness out here. I swear to God. Okay, Michigan, they're like fucking Stevie Wonder and shit. Just like, I see everything. I don't know. But we also have predators too. We have the disease, and there's another thing, collision too. So, and also fawn survival too. Like because of these predators and prey, the fawns aren't surviving. I think there's like a 47% chance of them surviving. So like there's a huge problem in and itself.
Well, you kind of jumped into something interesting about fawn survival. So with the UP, if the Superior watershed at the very top of it, right, they break the UP down into 3 zones by snowfall. It's like high, moderate, and low snowfall zones. Most of your deer are in that lower portion of the UP. In that Superior watershed on the top, you weren't allowed to harvest a doe, period, for the last 10 years. So as we're talking about ratio, you're getting all these does that are just allowed to make it through the season for 10 years, but guys still got 2 buck tags. So your balance is just going in the tubes, right? And when you have that, you got these bucks out here in this high snowfall zone with severe issues of survival, chasing does every 28 days as they come into estrus over and over again in this high snowfall zone. Buck mortality is going through the roof, and fawn survival is going down as well because late born fawns aren't like mature enough to make it through the winter. It's like a vicious cycle of things going on up there in that top third as well. And that's one of the issues with, and you've probably seen this on your side of the state, like late born fawns, because we have so many does and the bucks are chasing. Now, obviously down here, we don't have the winter issues that they do up in the UP, but you still see all those late born fawns, and we know a doe will go into estrus every 28 days until she's bred. So it just becomes a big problem.
Squatch, how do you think? Because you guys get a lot of snowfall up there. Like, how do you think with that?
About the deer dying in the snow, how it affects the situation?
Yeah.
Okay, so this year when I got out and walked through, let's see, that orchard is give or take 100 acres, the orchard out here behind my house. 4 dead doe I found remains of out in the orchard. I don't know if they were car to deer hits or whatever, but they were out more towards the mid back part of the orchard. It could have been, we have a lot of coyotes here, and it was very cold. We had 3 weeks it didn't get above 20 here, so and the snow is deep. I mean, they mutilated the buds on the trees out here from what they can reach. That was their only food source. And yeah, I think some deer died this year from the cold weather, and especially, I don't think I lost any of my guys that I was after, the older guys. I mean, I think they pulled through, but does get ran down too with the rut, and when the cold hits, they can't regroup, and especially we had wind, stuff like that. It definitely played a key factor. So if you take that's 100 acres. 4 deer out of that population. I think that reduced my herd by at least probably 40% that was here.
Hmm.
So yeah, it definitely plays a major role. And I'll tell you, predators, and you know what, you're gonna get mad at me, Josh, because I know you like the people there in the DNR and these guys who are smart and they think they're smarter than us, some of them, which they probably are because they got a PhD or whatever they're doing and what they're doing. But the old Squatch has been around a long time. And let me tell you something. I am not happy with the Environmental Conservation Agency here in New York, or their people who think they're know what they're looking out here in the woods, and I know what I see. And when New York State introduced predator to this area, there was no coyotes here when I grew up. Okay, I'm talking the 70s, 80s. No such thing as a coyote here. You never saw one, and you never saw a turkey here. Not one turkey walked on this ground ever. Okay, I was 17 years old. I saw my first hen turkey. And I told my grandfather, and he says, "No, that was a pheasant, son." I said, "No, I'm telling you, it's a turkey. I saw it." So the next day I went out and I shot it. And I brought it home. I says, "What's that?" He says, "That's a turkey." I said, "I thought so." So after that, we had an explosion of turkeys here. You couldn't go down in that swamp. There was 50, 60 turkey running around, gobbling their asses off. It was like turkey. I mean, I was just like in heaven. Oh, man, I got myself an 835 Mossberg. Oh, and I started shooting turkeys and eating them because they were good. You know what I mean? Well, about 3 years into it, our so-called professionals here in, New York State, and, I got an education, said, "Hey, you know what? There's too many turkeys. Let's introduce coyotes to the area." And I know for a fact, because where my buddy lives, right up the road on the mountain here, there was truckloads of stainless steel cages full of coyotes. And he went up, he's like, "What the hell are they doing? What's in the cages?" And they let them out. And that turned all hell loose up here around here as far as anything with deer populations. Not only did it wipe the freaking turkey population out, just about, it's nowhere near what it used to be. It's also killing deer left and right, taking them down, wounding deer. And not only that, it's been a problem with people who have pets around here. I have 4 beautiful beagles. I'm scared to death that something's going to happen to that. So thanks a lot, New York State, and your infinite wisdom with introducing something to control something. So I do not have any love for them. I really don't. I feel, and you're going to probably hate me, like I said, but leave us the frig alone. That's how I feel. I shouldn't have to pay to hunt animals that are here naturally, especially if I have private land. If it's my own land, why do I have to ask them permission to do anything? They don't have that right over me. It's ridiculous.
Kid running around?
That was mine.
Oh, I'm hearing like
I heard him, and I was like,
Oh,
he's making it to his room. I'm sorry.
He's wound for sound.
Yep.
But
anytime
no,
he hears Squatch's voice, he goes nuts.
So do you guys have a bear population?
What's that?
Do you have a bear population?
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and there's more and more bear coming in. More and more.
That's a natural population, not a brought-in population. Correct?
No, it's a brought-in population.
Okay.
Because what they do is when they got a bear problem, like down in Jersey, they ship them in a container up to here and dump them off here in the Catskill Mountains.
Yep.
And now you got people having problems with bears because they get in their garbages that are outside. These people are so stupid. Instead of putting it out there first thing in the morning to leave it out, they wake up and their garbage cans, 300 freaking feet down through the woods, all tore up with garbage. So there's another thing. Oh, hello, our freaking guys in the DEC, you might want to think about, what you're doing with the impacts of stuff here.
Yeah.
But
bears are fawn vacuums, and we see that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see them in the UP. They don't get enough credit in the UP because everybody's concerned about the wolves in the UP.
Yep.
Which, look, there's nothing our DNR can do about the wolves until federally it's taken care of. But as far as the bear goes, there's been some difference in tag things over the years. They've increased tags, decreased tags, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny because nobody really talks about the bear. They just talk about the wolves. And the coyotes that we have, I know coyotes take down deer all the time. Here I find them in the woods, usually fawns, smaller deer. But I'm the type of person, I'll give you credit where it's due, and then when you do something bad, I'll tell you too. And I spoke to this when I first started going to commission meetings. They had cut our coyote season. We're year round here, predator season year round.
Nice.
And they cut it to 9 months.
Oh.
And that was all from social pressure of anti-hunters showing up and screaming at commission meetings. And that was like my first introduction, I guess, to seeing the real issues here, following social science and not actual science, right?
Yeah.
So it's reinstated now. As of this year, it got reinstated, but we had that issue too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we had our great governor, asshole Hochul, and I'm going to call her that because she is an asshole. We used to have coyote contests. Oh no more coyote contests. It's immoral. You can't have any kind of contest when you're killing an animal. And you know what? It just aggravates the living piss out of me, because you know what's going to happen? All these stupid ass liberals, they're going to have their little foo-foo outside. Little foo-foo's going to be out there rolling in the freaking grass and all happy and taking a piss. And the next thing, I hope a freaking 70-pound coyote comes up, snatches that fucking dog by the neck and runs off with it. And then they could say, oh, well, don't have a contest because coyotes have rights just like we do. Kiss my ass. That's all. Yeah. And I'll tell you like it is. I don't care. I have no love for the DEC here. I don't feel I should have to buy $100 freaking tag to go enjoy what God made for me out in the outdoors. I think it's a crock of shit, especially when they don't use the money in the proper way. It's not returned back to the hunter. They do nothing. They do nothing with that money. I sit here, I watch it. They talk all this bullshit. They ask you to fill out a survey. I'm not filling crap out for you. You're lucky I bought a license. The only reason I bought a license is because I don't want to go to jail. I mean, it's ridiculous. We need, I'm sorry. 1776, we founded this country. We got away from England to get out from the king's thumb, and all we do is shove it right up our ass again. And that's what's wrong with America. I'm tired of it. You should be able to go out and enjoy stuff with your family, what you do. I mean, what do you think they did back in the old days? People shot stuff. Nobody reported nothing. Nobody gave a shit. It's people needed animals to survive. I know guys that don't have good jobs. Taxes are going up. Look at the freaking gas prices, everything. You think people are going to want to go out and spend $100 on a freaking tag just to shoot a couple of deer and freeze your ass off out there? No.
Squatch, is your tag $100?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? You used to have to pay for the doe permits, but if you buy the super sportsman or whatever the hell they call it, they throw that in. And then they say, oh, in November, come back. We'll have probably more tags for you. You get 2 more doe tags.
What do you get for $100?
What do I get? $2. You can shoot 2 doe. And then if I get the extra doe tags, I can shoot 2 more doe after that. If you don't have a tag that was filled, you can fill it in the muzzleloader season, which is the late season bow muzzleloader season. Use your unused tags up for that. If you don't use your tags at all, when the early season starts in the northern zone, which is up in the Adirondack Mountains, you can go up there and hunt a buck early on with that tag. But it's a ripoff, man. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to sell licenses. I used to freaking run a sporting goods store. I used to see the guys that came in. Oh, man. How the hell they expect us? I can't even, I'm making, $15 an hour. I can't afford this tag. It's crazy, but I got to buy it because I don't want to get arrested and this and that. Just leave people alone. They got to leave people alone. They really do. I'm so sick of that freaking bull crap, And I mean, like I said, the only reason I buy it is because I don't want to get arrested, because there's no fight in City Hall. You got to do what they want you to do, because nobody sticks together in the hunting community. You watch all these granola eating freaking tree huggers, right? One little protest, there's 90,000 people there. But you get people with a bug in their ass about hunting, 10 people show up. That's the problem with this community. That's the problem with this outdoors community. Nobody's got a set of balls anymore to stick together and fight these laws and tell these guys where shit stands. I shot a bobcat with the bow, okay? Because it would have killed my freaking dogs when I was running rabbits out there. I killed the bobcat. I called the taxidermist and said, hey, I ain't never shot anything like this before. What do I got to do? Oh, I got to take it to the friggin' DEC, Section 3. Okay, fine. Now this is during COVID. So I go in there, I've got the stupid fucking baby mask on. Yeah, I think that does anything good. I walk in there, I got your, biologist there, hey, young kids, even younger than Brett, coming in there. How much is it? How blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, yeah. He's going to put the seal through the thing's ear. I said, yo, wait a second here. I'm getting that mounted. Put it in a freaking somewhere it's inconspicuous, or just give me the tag in my hand, because they have to seal the pelt. So he goes, okay, puts it on the lower part of the animal. You can go. I said, hold on a second. That's it? Well, yeah. I said, no, I got to tell you where I shot it, don't I? No. I said, I got to tell you how much it weighed, don't I? No. You want to know what sex it is? No. Really? What the hell is this about? You just wasted a freaking half an hour of my time coming here for nothing. I should have just been able to take that over to the taxidermist and, here, I killed it, mount it. No, got to go through this stupid procedure. These guys didn't want to know nothing about the information of that animal. Nothing.
No.
So they're biologists. They're biologists. They're going to dictate and tell you what you can kill, because they know they're out there. Bullshit. They're playing Nintendo on the freaking TV. They ain't watching deer. So, Josh, I think you get my point. Don't piss the squats off.
We got all riled up.
We're clear. I know where you stand.
All right.
I just a couple points on what you just said, and that's why I asked you to clarify how much your tag was. Like our single deer license is $20. $20 for a single deer. Our combo, which is 2 deer, is 40, right? And then late season, doe tags are 20. Late season, you can get like $5 doe tags. And our hunters are just absolutely up in arms about tag cost, and they don't realize really how good we have it. We have a great value deer tag here in Michigan. Yeah. Like our deer tags are pretty cheap, and all that money goes back to, whether or not, I know Squatch isn't going to like it, but it goes back to the department. It goes back to conservation. That's some of our state lands get food plots and things like that. So all that money funds that. So I find it hilarious sometimes when guys just absolutely go off the rails about $20. And then you hear a guy like you says, it's $100 or, most states. One of our biologists told me the other day that a Colorado fishing license is like $75 by the time you get, finished paying for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have a very good value for our money here. And I'm not like an anti-tag guy, because to me, it's a shared resource, public, private, unless you got a fence up, it's a shared resource. And I'm not opposed to like landowner tags. A lot of states have them, landowner tags, but, all different structures, obviously, but dude, I don't care about buying a tag. It's $40 here. It's a case of beer at camp. It's no big deal, but, and it's like I said, it's a shared resource for everybody. So that's where I'm at with that. But the tag price is what's baffling to me.
Yeah,
man. Honestly, I wish my tags were that cheap. I'll be honest with you, because here, man, I mean, they kill you. I mean, Squatch knows. So so here in Jersey, so you can buy your sportsman, which includes your bow license, your shotgun license, and your fishing license. It's $72.50 for that. Then if you want to fish for trout that they stock, it's another $10.50 for the stamp on top of that here in Jersey. And then it's like, okay, now we have the permit bow season that starts during the rut, so everybody wants to be out there. It's $58, and that includes your doe license and the one buck tag. Then you got, okay, now muzzleloader opens. You have to do, it's basically the same thing. It's $58, but now you need your rifle permit, which is another $10.50 on that. So now you're at $70 for that. Now it's like, okay, our last season is permit shotgun. Same thing. It's another $28 and $28. So now you're back at $56. So basically, if you buy all your licenses together, I mean, you're looking at like, you're easily $300-400 into it.
You might as well be a non-resident.
Yeah, our pheasant stamp alone, if you want to hunt, besides like obviously you got to get your shotgun license first, right? But our pheasant stamp alone is $40 for pheasant stamp, and you can only shoot 2 birds a day. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
It's just the prices
Frank,
are just so crazy.
Frank had me come out for shotgun only because they only use shotguns. They can't use rifle in Jersey.
Yep.
And if you've ever been to a Jersey gun store, you'll know why. The way they handle guns and stuff. I mean, you got to watch that meme. It's pretty funny. But anyway, I went there for. I had a 5-day tag. It was $125. Out of state resident, $125 for 5 days to hunt with a shotgun.
Yep. Bet
your ass the first thing that was brown went down.
Yep.
I got my $125 worth of meat.
Absolutely.
You know.
Well, so there's another great point, right? As we're talking about tag costs in Michigan, $40, $20, whatever. I seen a guy post the other day that a pound of ground venison was $15.99, and he was complaining about the price of a tag. And I'm like, okay, well, you shoot a deer, you get 50 pounds of meat, or you get 1 pound for the same price. Like, how does that?
Yeah.
How is that a bad deal? You know, and when we're talking about meat, like it's still efficient. $100 is steep for a lot of people, and I understand that. Like that, I'm sure that's a point of contention for a lot of people. That's steep, you know. But $20-40, dude. I mean, I buy my combo and then 2 doe tags every year usually. So I don't know, I end up about $80. And I'm not opposed to saying I'd like to see where the funds go. Like, I'm not opposed to that. That's why I go to the finance committee meeting. I want to see where my money's going, right? That's our responsibility to kind of see where our funds are going. But still, from a meat standpoint, it's not that bad of a deal, especially when you process your own.
Yeah, but how many guys process their own? Now you got guys here paying $1.25 to get a deer processed.
Our average is $130 statewide now.
There you go.
Dude, that's one thing I talk to guys about all the time is like, that's part of the process to me.
Yep.
I think people need to start processing their own deer again. It really, I think, makes you take in the moment a little bit better. It makes you appreciate the animal more. You want to talk about tradition and heritage, like there it is.
Yep.
You know, processing your deer, the family around the table, everybody cutting a piece of meat.
Oh yeah.
Get a glass of bourbon and some music going at the same time. It's a good time, dude.
Yep.
Absolutely.
No, it absolutely is. Yeah.
Well, we're getting kind of towards the end of the show here, but one thing I wanted to say there's a publication by the Mississippi State explains that proving the buck age structure can have a significant biological benefit and improve hunting quality. And where was the note here that I made? It documents that after Mississippi's 4-point antler restriction, yearling bucks dropped to about 18% of the annual buck harvest, while the average age of harvested bucks increased from 1.8 years to 2.5 years. It also says that it can take about 4 to 5 years for this to actually come about. So if this does happen here in Michigan, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. It's going to take some time. And I've said this before too, like, what's wrong with putting a system in, trying it for X amount of years? If it doesn't work, we can try and change it again. Because it's not like what we have on the table right now. In theory, is it good? Yes, I want this all to fix. I want it all changed right now. I want it all fixed because of the problem that we have. Is it going to happen overnight? Fuck no, it's not. It's going to take time. So, I don't know, I've been saying this for a long time. Like I just said, what's the issue with just putting something in place, letting all hunters know we're going to try this out for a little bit. If it doesn't work, we're going to reconvene in 6 years and we're going to try something different because we're trying to get this right for the futures and futures and futures going on. Okay. So don't think like if this does go to 1 buck, I know there's hunters out there that believe in it, that don't believe in it. They think going into a different direction might be a better benefit. This might not be the one that just ends it all, but it could be the one that, like, you know what? It does fix things. Okay. Also in Mississippi, where was my note here? They also said that it's not also the magic fix either. So they said that it does prove age structure, but they also go on to say that, in other words, buck's age structure is only one lever. Okay, Michigan's own Upper Peninsula limiting factors report says predation, like we talked about earlier, winter conditions, and habitat quality all interact in deer abundance. Okay. And I think we get so stuck on, at least people here in Michigan, Michiganders, we get on wolves. And I think wolves are like this cool amenity or whatever. There's this, when you say wolves, like wolves are cool. Like everyone knows bears, but wolves are like wolves, man. That's my favorite animal. And I don't know, I've loved them since I was a kid. I think you hear wolf and people like lose their fucking mind. I don't know. But especially here out west where it's like, you shot a wolf, how dare you? And like everyone jumps on you. I don't know. But it also says that the severe winter conditions appear to have the greatest impact on the buck harvest. Okay. So here in Michigan, we're not like Wyoming or Montana, but we have some severe winters here. And it gets pretty fucking cold. Okay. I think last year we were up in the UP around New Year's and it got down to almost, it was like in the negatives or something. I can't remember what, but it gets cold. And they dumped 20 inches of snow within 18 hours on us. Just boom, bam.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things that got to go on. Do I think that we can just do a copy and paste of what other states are doing? No, that's not the solution here. But what we can do here in Michigan is, and I've been saying this too, is look at what other states are doing. How can we implement of what works for them, what doesn't work for them? You have to look at what we have to offer here in Michigan. There's 3 different zones here in Michigan. You have the UP, the northern part of Michigan, and the southern part of Michigan. How can we make each one better all around? Because it's not just going to be, we're going to slap one buck and it's going to fix everything for the entire state from top to bottom. It's got to be, how can we fix each zone in my position, really? You have to look at what we offer here in Michigan, what's going on, look at the core problems, and how can we fix them individually and move it all the way up to this, from the lower part of Michigan all the way to the UP. And like I said earlier, I'm going to wrap it up here when I say this. It's awesome to see that we have a commission here. They're willing to change things. They're willing to listen to people. We have, as hunters, we've been saying, at least from what I hear from other hunters, it's like DNR just didn't care what we had to say. But now it looks like they are listening to what we had to say. And I'm not saying that we're all freaking Robert Einsteins or something, but we're the ones out there and we see the problem. We see what's going on. I can see, and where I'm hunting right now, that I have 1 buck to maybe 5 does and 3 yearlings with them. So it's like 1 to 8 almost. And we all know, you guys all joke about me, I was the doeless hunter till last year. I have rules when it comes to shooting does. I tried shooting does. I can't fucking do it. Okay. Just try it. All right. I shot them and I still can't find them. They're Einsteins and these things are resilient. Okay. That's just my experience with hunting does because they're just hard. Okay. I don't know what it is. I want to go out there and shoot the does. I just haven't been able to close the book.
They're like Bigfoot. They're like a dimensional animal for you.
Pretty much. They're just like, hey, we're here. I don't know.
Hey, Brett.
Yeah.
I just want to add something about, like the APR. Like, most of the guys that are supporting 1 buck aren't anti-APR by any means. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that APR being a fix, I think what it does is it shifts that age class of harvest from 1.5 to 2.5, and then that deer dies as a basket rack 8, and that's fine if that makes you happy. Like I don't want to hold anybody to an APR standard, or I'm not like a buck shamer, one of those guys by any means. But one of the things that the DNR said in their surveys is hunters wanted regulations that would fall blanket wide. And when you back up and look at everything, and one thing that we've done is over harvested bucks and under harvested does. Yeah. So the way to take that away, as the only blanket thing you can do, is reduce the amount of buck tags. And that's from hunter feedback. So, we get to a point where hunters start voicing their opinion, and then the DNR takes a stance, finally, after generations of not making a buck reg. Like, I think this is the first time in my lifetime they've ever recommended a buck reg. they make a buck reg recommendation and guys are like, oh my God, and it's like, we asked for it, we asked for a change, and this is what they gave us. So it's like, time to, I guess, put up or shut up. Either you support it or you don't. And if you don't support it, like, you need to voice your opinion, because like you said, they're listening, and they're willing to hear your opinion right now. I mean, maybe not at this moment. We're, 2 weeks away from a vote, but all year long, right? We've had a chance, and I've been saying it, trying to get guys engaged for, the past year, this whole cycle. And it is going to sunset. Like, there is going to be, our buck regs move, or our deer regs in general, move in 3-year cycles. So whatever happens 3 years from now, they're going to revisit it. They're going to talk about it, review it. You need 3 years to get a little bit of data, and then people can voice their opinions on it all over again.
So, Josh, where do you stand on this ruling?
I'm a $1 guy for sure. I'm a state land guy. I want to say that, like, I'm not the guy that has, a piece of public. I have a pretty broad view all over zone 3, some zone 2. I've never hunted the UP, so I'm a little funny about talking about it because I've never hunted it, but I stand on $1. I think the way that the numbers line up, I don't see any reason not to. And I've shot 2 bucks. Like, it's legal. I'm going to do it. But I don't feel like we're taking anything or losing anything.
Okay. Brett, where do you stand on it?
I still go back and forth. I said earlier, I think earn a buck might be a good route to go. And I think that was some talks about it too earlier. I'm not necessarily for it. I'm not against it. I just want things to get improved. Either way, I'm still going to go out there hunting. I'm just going to love the nature of it all, whether I get $1 or not. Do I think there can be some fallback from going to $1? I definitely see that, because of the way the hunting, like the retention we were talking about, we're not really retaining a lot of hunters, and I don't think we're gaining a lot of hunters either in the youth, because they're so concerned more about sitting on their couches, eating Cheetos, and watching Tiki-Takis, this new day and age culture. And I say this, it's on the parents. So if your kids are doing that, it's on you to get your kids outside and get them and doing that. And my kids are always outside. The only time they get to chat with their iPads or little tablets is when they get home, about like for 15, 20 minutes. And it's a little learning stuff. So like they can recognize of how to do ABCs and stuff like that because of their young age. But no, it's on you as parent, as an adult role model. You got to get your kids outdoors.
I'll give you an interesting stat real quick to talk about recruitment. My girl's actually a hunter safety instructor, and she signed up. She doesn't work for the DNR. She's a volunteer. So Squatch, don't hate her.
Easy, Squatch.
No, but she was looking for a course to teach recently, and they have like a program where they can get on and see where all the classes are being taught at. And there was only 9 registered courses through the end of the year, within 100 miles of my house. And that to me is terrible. You want to talk recruitment? Like, why aren't people getting their kids a hunter safety certificate? It's, it's mandatory. So, if they're going hunting, they have to have one when they get, I think, 11.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Take your kid, put him in the class, free babysitting.
All right.
Get them outside.
Yeah.
It's a failure, dude. It's a problem. It's sad.
Yeah.
All I know is I'm going to go out there. I'm going to sit in my tree stand. I'm going to sit in my saddle. And real quick, I wouldn't wait on my new gear. I can't do it because the shit's still fucking out of order. Still waiting for stuff to get restocked from these places. I'm like, come on.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm still going to go outside, enjoy what God created for me, and enjoy God's green creation out there and the beauty of it all. Because it's just simply the best crack I've ever created. It's freaking beautiful. With that being said, do you have any final comments from any of you guys? Stuff like that? Anything?
I just want to add, a little bit. It's not that I don't give credit to what they're trying to do, but when they're puppets, they got the freaking marionette strings tied to them, and they're told by the uppity ups who don't know nothing, they're out to ruin the United States of America. Okay. That's what I got a problem with. That's the ones I have a problem with, because it seems like that side of the fence dictates everything that has to do with people who don't even agree with their looks on anything in the outdoors. And the funding, I guarantee you, if you sat there and you took each little bit of money and you watched where that went, I guarantee you it's going to the wrong places. And I know it for a fact it is. I can see it. I work for a highway department. I can see the monies, where the monies go. We got roads deteriorating, falling apart for years here. And you guys in Michigan, I was in Michigan. My brother used to live there. You guys ship the roads there too. But let me tell you something. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You got the lottery monies. You got bridge freaking monies coming in. You got all these taxes coming in. We're taxed to death on these freaking hunting licenses. I'm sorry. Kiss my American ass. It's got to stop. It's got to stop.
One thing I'll ask Frank for next, and then we'll end it with Josh. I think some people that might be against it is because it's change. I forgot to mention that. Because we've been so long, it's been a combo tag for as long as I've known. And people just don't like change. So that's why I think some of them, let's just say it's split 50-50. I think 50 for opposed, 50 for wanting it. I don't know the numbers right now. I'm just saying for example. And 50% that don't want it to happen. Let's say half of that maybe are ones that they just don't want things to change. They like the status quo as it is. I think some people are in that bucket. They don't want to admit it. Part of me doesn't want to change because that's just how I've been doing it. And I think one big thing is, I forgot to mention this earlier too, was people use that, I don't want to say same, but they'll use that or excuse that second buck for more meat and just say, well, you can just shoot more does. Well, as we said earlier, about 20,000 people were shooting using their $2 tags. So the numbers are still very small for people that actually harvest $2. So I think change is one thing, and I think people, they just don't want it because it means more meat for them in the freezer. So I think that's something else too that we didn't allude. Do you have, before we get to Frank, Josh, do you have any comment on that real quick?
I think change is a lot of it. Like, we have a deep rooted hunting tradition here. Guys been doing this their whole lives. Like, Michigan is a hunting mecca without the age class of deer. And it's continued that way. And we've never changed anything. So we've kind of continued to go downhill a little bit. $1, it's going to save roughly 32,000 deer a year, I think is the exact number of the.
That's what I was looking. Like, it saves about 30 to 40.
Yeah, and that's with a 30% non-compliance rate on harvest reporting. So it could be, much more than that. They estimate 30% non-compliance. So it could save 40,000 deer. It could save 50,000 deer, but it at least saves 32,000 bucks. Hopefully those bucks in the areas that can take it turn to does, and we can kind of balance things out a little bit. Because one thing we didn't really touch on was the experience. Hunter experience increases when you get a better buck to doe ratio. And I don't know how your guys' states are, but I know that when I go anywhere else in the Midwest, man, I'm seeing like daytime rut activity, chasing, seeking, calls work, rattling antlers work. It's like anything works. It's just a free for all of deer activity. And that's one thing we've been robbed of here, but we've robbed ourselves of it, with the way that we harvest and refuse to harvest. And it's going to be a shocking moment for a lot of people with the change, but embrace it, don't fight it. Just take it as a positive that hunter satisfaction is going to increase over time for sure. It always does in any place that experiences change. Pennsylvania, most people in Indiana, I know you said you knew somebody that didn't like it, but I know quite a few people that go there and hunt.
Yeah, same here. I got a lot of friends that go down there and they love it down there.
Yeah, anytime you change something, people are really apprehensive for the first couple of years, and then after a cycle. Northwest 13, even in Michigan, when they implemented APRs, a lot of guys didn't want it. Now they'll never go back. So it just takes time to get over that hump.
I'll say this last thing. We still have to fix the freaking doe problem though, because like you mentioned earlier, with people as hunters, we just don't shoot the does here in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that's got to be fixed and addressed as well.
And hopefully
I think that's why I think the earn a buck was the best route to go, because even though you were buying tags for dirt cheap in January, people just weren't doing it.
Yeah, and a number to that, at the December commission meeting, only 35% of our harvest was does, and as of December 5th. Well, then those tags went to $5, and the harvest jumped up to like 48% or 46%, somewhere in there. I don't think the guys are necessarily waiting on it to go to $5, but they're just sitting on their tags all season long until they have to, burn up towards the end. Hopefully that 0.4 turns into does in the areas that can sustain it. Earn a buck, it's not a blanket regulation that can work everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Northwest, Northeast, like just Northern Michigan, period, couldn't sustain that type of harvest, I don't think. And I think the hunters would absolutely really be upset about it, especially in the UP. Like, we know they couldn't take it. So that's my pushback with the earn a buck. And we don't have the funding to have physical check stations. Like, we don't have physical check stations. Mm-hmm. So with the absence of physical check stations, that becomes a problem. If we're already non-compliant on 30%, what makes you think you're not going to have 100,000 does shot at 8 a.m. on November 15th? The ghost though becomes a thing, and I can't support it from that aspect. If they have physical check stations, whole different conversation.
Yeah.
And in zone 3, I wouldn't say zone 2 and zone 1.
Frank, do you have any lasting comments for this?
No, I mean, I'm on kind of like on the same boat with Squatch on this one. But from my perspective, like, I can only talk about here in Jersey. Like, I think $7 is ridiculous, even if you're paying for it. There's no need for it. I honestly, like, I wish we were a $2 state, because there's no need for that. People need to shoot more of the does. We can only do our part, but it's almost like Josh said, like, we used to have physical check-in stations. They got rid of that, like, I think like 10, probably around like 10, 15 years ago, they got rid of it. So now it's like, okay, now you got earn a buck. It almost makes you wonder how many people are actually shooting a doe first, so that's just my perspective. But I would like to see a lot of things change here in Jersey too. Like, I'm not comfortable. Like, okay, like, I understand all the rules now, but I want to see change here, especially like with their bear season. I think the bear season here is bullshit. Like, they'll give you a bear tag for nothing, basically $2 for a bear tag, but you only get, a week in October and a week in December, and that's it. So I would like to see that change, but I guess we'll wait and see what happens with our state and see how everything's going. So I know they're talking about changing the whole crossbow thing, making it illegal and everything. So we'll see how that goes. They're fighting that battle now. So
I just want to touch on something, not to interrupt you, Frank, but it's a fresh point. $7 ruling, $7 a year in Jersey. Hey, Frank, how was your trail cameras last year? Huh?
I didn't have 7. Are we talking about maybe $7?
I'm saying you've got no shortage. You've got no shortage of good shootable bucks there.
Yeah, I wish.
I've seen you got some decent bucks that run around.
Yeah, we got some decent bucks.
And there's
What's your
decent
harvest ratio like?
Oh, by us, I mean, it all depends, like, by county right now. So, I mean, I would say, like, so, like, our buck rate for where I'm at is, like, 7 does to 1 buck. But nobody shoots the fucking bucks. I mean, nobody shoots the does. Everybody wants to shoot the buck. So,
Well, you got
but you
7
still
tags
have
to do
bucks.
it.
but
still
you
have
get,
bucks.
yeah, but they give you a limited tax. As long as you're willing to pay for them, they don't give a shit.
And there's still bucks.
And
There's still bucks. And there's good bucks. There's
Yep.
good bucks. So there you go, Mr. Wildlife Biologist. No, you don't know your facts. Deer will repopulate. They did it back in the old days. They'll still do it, on and so forth. Leave people alone. Let them hunt. And that's all I got to say.
I was trying not to give him too much, Josh. So, with the ammunition, but he already got it anyway. So he knows. Me and Squatch, we're only literally an hour and 5 minutes apart. So we're not that far.
There's good deer all across the Michigan. Like there's good bucks in Michigan. I've got on some really good state land bucks. I've glassed up a ton of great deer. I'm just of the I guess the thought process where why not try to be better? Like we're looking at all our neighbors, and you guys are kind of on the East Coast. You got a little bit. We're in that peninsula of the Midwest, man. Every state around us has really great bucks on the landscape. And we're just missing the mark here on making the best Michigan that we could be, I guess. So I guess that's where the push is. And, coming from the youth, and you kind of alluded to it earlier with the social media and everything. And the thought that I've had, about engagement, and I'm not saying this is right. So I'm not saying it's right, but the kids that are coming up now are coming up in the age of watching TV. They're watching YouTube. They're watching all this stuff, and they want to chase big bucks. And there's a lot of not kids, but young guys that I know that are maybe in their 20s, and I mean, even guys in their 30s that just leave Michigan to hunt because they don't have here what they're looking for. And what sucks about that is not only are they not hunting here, but they're not being stewards here, right? They're not shooting does, they're not shooting bucks, they're not even participating, which hurts everything. And I don't want to see that. I'd like to see puts the deer back on the landscape that it really interests guys. And again, I'm not saying it's right. Like, we shouldn't be antler crazy, but being antler crazy is why we're in this position in the first place. So that makes it tough. But, Squatch made a couple good points that I just want to say kind of in my closing comments about, like, our community of hunters just fighting each other nonstop.
Yeah.
All facts, dude. And we've seen that in the past couple of weeks with the 1 buck argument. And I get it. There's going to be differences of opinion. But that's one thing. Difference of opinion is one thing. We can disagree, but we can be respectful and disagree. These guys are calling each other stupid, dumbass, all types of different things. And then going to the point where they're saying, well, I'm just going to shoot button bucks because screw the DNR, and just nasty things that these guys are coming out with for no reason. And that's our community. And one thing that I've learned in going to these commission meetings, when I first started going, you get in there and there's 10 hunters, right? We got 600,000 hunters in this state. And you go to a commission meeting and there's 10 guys sitting in there. But you know who's sitting in there in force? The anti-hunters, the blue hairs, the liberals. And those are the people that are beating us out of this. And we've seen it with the coyote season. When they got that reduced, that was because we weren't in the room. We fail to show up, but we don't fail to buy a license. We don't fail to hunt. We don't fail to kill things, but we fail to look after the resource itself. The resource that we love, we feed our families on. We fail to look after it. And I take issue with that, and I think that's a problem. And, another point that Squatch made, I'll hit on this one thing before I, get off my high horse here. He's talking about the puppet masters, right? And one thing that I take issue with is a 1996 Michigan passed Proposal G, which gave all authority over the taking a game to the Natural Resource Commission. In that Natural Resources Commission, the hunter can show up and state his opinion. He can speak. He can talk to these people. and we can have influence in that room.
Mhm.
Without Proposal G, it goes to legislature. We do not want legislators making decisions for natural resources.
Nope.
What I do want is the legislators to keep their nose out of natural resource business. And if they do anything, it's to reinforce Proposal G with the Resources Commission and make them make sound scientific decisions based on data and facts with public input. You know, that's fine. We have influence in that room. But it's important for guys to understand that and show up, because you don't want legislators getting involved in your natural resources. And we've kind of see that with baiting, you know, sitting in the Senate. There's a House bill, there's a Senate bill for baiting. It's because Natural Resource Commission, you know, doesn't want to budge on baiting. But regardless of how they feel, we don't want the legislators getting a foothold in there. And just because you're not, I guess, getting your way doesn't mean you should support legislation making your hunting laws, because that's the last thing that we want. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you do not want big government controlling your woods.
Nope.
You made a comment. I'll say this real quick. We all talk about how we need to come together and stop fighting each other, and basically we're our own enemies in a sense. In these last couple months, I've just seen, as you stated, the nasty things I've seen people go to, the extent of disagreeing, or these outlandish comments of, oh, I'm just going to not buy a tag, or I'm going to shoot these butt tags and do these type of things. That's not what as we as hunters need to be doing. We've said it before, and you said it perfectly too. And I feel like as hunters, we should be the good representation of, we are the ones that actually can have these conversations about these tough topics and tough conversations. And we aren't going to be able to, like in the real politics of things like that, like in Washington, D.C., you have people at their throats talking about they're going to kill each other and this and that and that point. No, as hunters, we can actually sit down in the same room, sit down on YouTube right here and have these conversations and disagree, or agree, and have these and be able to be respectful with you and each other, and not rip each other showing like, oh, I think you're fucking wrong. Nope, you're an idiot, and say those mean things. No, we're adults. We're hunters. We love this land. We just want to make everything better for what we have now, and how can we make it better for the future and make it better for our futures for the kids.
Mm-hmm. Leave it better than we found it, man.
Exactly. And to see how things kind of are transpiring right now. I'm not saying it's every comment. I'm just saying I've seen a lot of it. It's just seeing stuff like that is just sad. We need to be better. We need to be able to pick each other up, and it might not be an all-time thing. So you just don't know, and it can be a good thing to happen. So that being said, Josh, I want to say thank you for coming on tonight's show. I greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you for everything that you are doing with your part, trying to get people involved, and everything that you're doing on social media, man. I see it. I pay attention to it. I may not come on everything that you post, but I've seen it, and I think you're doing a lot of great work, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. So I want to say thank you from me to you, not from the show to show type of thing. Brett to Josh, I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on here, man.
And Frank and Squatch, you guys are basically required to come on, otherwise you're fired. No show, no call. A couple of quick things I'll say is there's no show this Tuesday. There's no show next Sunday because it is Mother's Day. So every day should be Mother's Day, people. Come on, we shouldn't take one day to just be able to celebrate our mothers. But next week, Sunday, is Mother's Day. So with this, I want to say this. Love all the mothers out there. Love my wife. I love all the mothers. You guys are amazing. You guys are just flipping amazing. I love my mom. And thank you. But the following Tuesday, we'll have the Frank and Squatch show. So make sure to tune into them. That being said, go around the table like we just did. Frank, how can people find you if they want to?
I'll be here on Whitetail Advantage from time to time. You can find me on the Frank and Squatch show, Boondocks Hunting and Garden State Outdoorsman podcast, and Broadside Ambush on Instagram.
Squatch?
Everybody knows where to find me. Simple enough.
In the woods.
If you don't know who I am by now, then you'll figure it out sooner or later. But I appreciate everybody coming on and always voicing their opinions, and that's what it's all about. You don't have to agree. You can agree to disagree, but you know what? At the end of the day, we shake hands and just move on, and it is what it is. Remember that, people, especially when you're out in the woods. Everybody's enjoying the same thing you are. So,
Josh, and then we'll end out with Squatch's prayer.
I guess you can just find me at the Michigan Whitetail Project on Instagram. Just my personal page. So
awesome. Squatch, you mind saying a quick thing for us?
Absolutely. Father God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this awesome conversation in the stewardship of your great creation, Lord, that you put out there for us to enjoy. And we ask that this God-given right not be taken away and not be fringed upon. I thank you for the blessings that you bestow upon us, letting us be able to have this show and bringing people on. We ask that you bless our guest in his future hunts and everything that he does. And as always, you got the Frank, you got Squatch, you got Brett, and signing off with Josh. Always shoot straight. God bless you all. The Whitetail Advantage is out.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.